Well, Husker fans, a seismic day inside Nebraska athletics as Nebraska Athletic Director Trev Alberts is leaving the university after about 2 years and 8 months as the athletic director to go to Texas A&M for the exact same job. This is a shocking move, and there's no other way to say it. Texas A&M and Nebraska, different programs in different leagues, but I wouldn't necessarily say that A&M's football profile is that much different than Nebraska's. And there will be interesting aspects of that job at A&M. So we will maybe be left to speculate what left Alberts wanting to leave. But at the same time, there are some things that we can kind of report up to this moment that gives you some insight into where things have been and where they might be going from here. First of all, Texas A&M reached out to Trev Alberts about a week ago, probably about a Wednesday of last week. And then Trev Alberts went down to College Station to interview over the weekend. I think that was knowledge that NU had. I think they were aware that he was going to go down there. I don't believe that Alberts came back and asked for a bunch of things. I don't think there was a giant ask in the process based on the reporting, the sourcing that we've done. The reality is about 4:45 today, this is Wednesday, an email was sent out to NU athletic department employees that he was going to be leaving. And so I think it's been sort of radio silent all day long. The news broke early this morning that Texas A&M had targeted Alberts, and he was expected to agree to a deal that was going to put him among the top 10 nationally in athletic director salaries. I'll be honest, he's not far from that now. And the way that Nebraska had built his contract is such that, you know, he was going to get salary look-ins that guaranteed he was going to get paid a lot of money. So I don't think this is about the money. I do think, however, it's about just some of the frustrations that come along with this particular job, particularly as it relates to the vision that Alberts has. He has a very big vision and the fundraising for some of those things. I mean, you get right down to the Memorial Stadium project, $450 million. Nobody's quite sure what's going to happen to that now. Alberts was such a driver of that thing that it's going to be interesting to see how Nebraska moves forward. He's the guy that came in and did the surveys and immediately put the vision out there. Hey, we're going to make changes to Memorial Stadium. We have to improve the fan experience. He was the main mover in that. And then the price tag, $450 million. Was there money going to be coming from the state? The reporting that I've done indicates that eventually that money may come. Although you wonder now if the guy that was the biggest champion of that project, Alberts, going to A&M, is probably going to throw a lot of things into turmoil and question. The interim NU president, Chris Cabor, is going to have to settle things down very quickly. They're going to have to name an interim AD pretty quickly. And then they're going to have to try to figure out who can take this job from here. And although there will be tons of names, right? Nebraska can pay a lot of money. It's in the Big Ten. They're going to have interested parties for sure. ADs from all over the country will be interested in this job. Nebraska has to find the right person for this job. And I think they thought they had in Trev Alberts. The fact that this news is breaking this week is a little bit surprising, I think, probably for Alberts too. The reality is it's spring break at Nebraska. It's spring break at A&M. Even though they could announce it, I don't know that there's a ton of people around to kind of do the kind of press conference they want. Matt Rhule is in Scotland golfing. Will Bolt's out of town coaching the baseball team. Fred Hoiberg's taking a team up to Minneapolis. This is not great timing. It could have happened next week or even the week after, but somebody wanted it out there. Maybe Trev Alberts was on the fence. Maybe he was wavering. Maybe he told somebody he was interested in doing it. But once those reports came out this morning, and they came from reputable sources like the Houston Chronicle and ESPN, it was pretty clear that Trev was going to have to make a decision like that. And he's made it. He's leaving Nebraska. And people will speculate probably what happened here. Why would this guy who loved this place, this was his alma mater, he loved the university, he had just hired Matt Rhule, and at Texas A&M, he's inheriting a coach that's going to be there at least 3 or 4 years because he just got hired by the guy that left. Why would he leave Nebraska? That's a question that Alberts is going to have to answer. But as I think about it again, it comes down to that fundraising vision. Does the vision that Alberts has match what Nebraska is able to pull off simultaneously? Is Nebraska completely safe in the Big Ten? I think that's a question that everybody's kind of looking around and wondering. You wouldn't think that, but again, if you listen to some of the comments he's made and the alignment that he wanted to have, the Big Ten is committed to its schools, but at the same time, they're adding schools very quickly, and you just never know what's going to happen. This is a destabilizing moment for Nebraska athletics because Trev Alberts had built good relationships with Tony Petitti. He had built good relationships with the college football playoff folks. In fact, they were interested in him becoming their executive director at one point. He had built good relationships with the NCAA, and he was out front on issues like NIL and eventually what's probably going to become athletic department funding. Nebraska needs to find an AD. They need to bring everybody together. They may want to find a president, a permanent president, to replace Ted Carter, who left at the end of December. There's a lot of questions right now within Nebraska athletics, and this will go all the way up, I'm sure, to the governor's office. Jim Pillen, a former NU Regent, a former Husker football player, will be very, very interested in what's going on here. Okay, we've got lots of coverage to come for the weeks to come. It's never a dull moment in Nebraska athletics, is it? Just when you think they're going to have a stable, quiet spring, they pull you into a little bit of turmoil. Thanks, Husker fans. Sam McKewon here. We will have plenty of news to come.